friends. I am Rajshekhar Kotluri and I have a passion for rooftop vegetable gardening and farming. And the inspiration for this is from my mother. My father used to work in the central government and we were traveling all over India. But wherever she went, she always made it a point to grow vegetables in whatever small space was available, either an apartment on the roof or otherwise if it's a house in the ground around. And she had some very innovative and very practical ideas how to grow vegetables and how to even do the watering also. Like she used to block the bathroom outlet water, the bath water, and then she would divert them in very ingenious ways to the plants. So in such a wonderful way that all the neighbors used to be stunned by the kind of vegetables she used to grow, and she would distribute these vegetables all over to everyone, and they used to praise her for the wonderful taste of the vegetables and the beautiful nourishment that was offered. So this was an inspiration, and based on that I had this idea for a very long time to actually start something like this. And finally in this house at Banjara Hills we have about more than 2000 square feet of open area. So I got these troughs made by an outside organization, but we can easily do this ourselves because all this material is very easily available. Using some plastic sheets and plastic framework, we can build this kind of a trough. This is different from the regular conventional way of growing vegetables like in potted plants and all, in like pots, because here the water retention is much higher, the utilization of water is much less. You don't have to use that much of water to grow these plants, and they have a very good, almost natural type of environment and soil that comes for the plants. It does not affect the roof. Sometimes when we try to grow using these pots, the water goes into the roof and it damages the roof and you have water leakages everywhere. You can intermix different types of vegetables. For instance, here we have cabbage and we also have amaranth, which is known as Okra in Telugu. So these two combination we have done over here. First, let me tell you about what material is used. The soil is what is called as cocoa peat, which is easily available in the market in 25 kilo bags. You can buy that and fill it once the trough is ready. And when the first time when you do it, you can also mix some cow dung manure in a proportion of around 1:10. So for every 100 kilos of cocoa peat, you can put about 10 kilos of dry cow dung manure. So I think that is enough for the nourishment, and then you can do the planting in such a way. We also have ivy gourd also, which is intermixed along with this. So watering preferably should be done with a watering can instead of using pipes, because the pipes will have too much of force and that will damage the plants and disturb the soil structure. Timely watering is very important for the plants. So you should check whether the water is needed or not. You should not just keep watering unnecessarily. Even that is not good, because sometimes you get some kind of funguses will start increasing when there is too much of water. So the best way for this is to check practically. You just insert your finger into the soil to a depth of around 1 inch and then you take it out. So if your finger is wet, it means that no watering is required. Only when your finger is coming out completely dry, only then you should water. Or another indication could be, if you miss these indications, if the leaves start even drooping slightly, then that means you know that that is the time to actually start to provide water. So sometimes even 2 days at a stretch we don't need to water, depending on the weather conditions. The watering frequency varies from based on the weather condition. It is not a fixed thing like you have to water every day. There is no fixed rule like that. This is a tomato plant stuff. It has about 10 tomato plants, and as you can see, nice ripe tomatoes all over the plant, and it grows very proliferously. Almost last 10 days we got almost 10 kilos of tomatoes, and it is not only enough for our family, but we are also distributing to some of our neighbors and friends. Pests can still affect the rooftop cultivation. So we have some very natural methods to control the pests. We use Neem oil pesticide. We dilute about 30 milliliters of neem oil into 1 liter. This is a 1 liter spray can, and then we can just spray on the leaves and on the fruit. And this you just need to do about once in every 15 days. In case the infestation of pests is a little more, then you can do it once in a week time or once in 10 days time, so that you can see if it is getting controlled. Then once in 15 days is enough, otherwise once in a week or once in 10 days frequency is fine. So it is important to just spend at least half an hour every day with the plants, because you also get to know what is happening, and you can spot any pests at an early stage, and that can easily be controlled by this process. In this trough, we have planted 5 different varieties. That side you can see lettuce. Here we have amaranth, totokora. Here ivy gourd, dondakai, cabbage, and then okra, which is bendakai, lady's fingers. So wonderful. Everything is growing very well, and the ivy gourd is something which grows so much. Every week we get at least about 2 kilos of ivy gourd, and that's again more than enough for the family. You can also give it to others. See, the best thing is that even though there are 5 different varieties, in nature there is no competition. All of them live together harmoniously, and they all share the same nutrients, and everything grows wonderfully. So this is a beautiful way to get absolutely fresh, guaranteed, without pesticides and without using any kind of chemical fertilizers, the kind of vegetables that you get. It's so tasty, so wonderful to eat. You can easily make out the difference when you eat vegetables which are grown in this manner versus vegetables which are found in the market with all the pesticides and with all the fertilizer used. The growth is very unnatural in those kind of vegetables, and you don't get the proper taste in that. And even the nourishment is not good. They don't have a proper energy also. Not only that, they spoil very fast. The vegetables which we get in the market, they spoil very fast. When you bring them, you keep them for a few days, immediately they develop fungus or they develop some kind of infection, and they start rotting very quickly. Whereas vegetables grown here in the rooftop garden or any natural method like this, they stay for very long. They have a much higher shelf life. Even without keeping it in the refrigerator, they stay for many days. What you see here are bottle gourd plants which we have put in the next trough. In this we have bottle gourd as well as ridge gourd on the other side, and apart from that we also have some palak, which is spinach. It's also there. And bottle gourd, once it grows well, it again grows very proliferously. It has tremendous growth and very productive vegetable. And ridge gourd is not as proliferous as bottle gourd, but you can also get very good, high quality, good tasting ridge gourds when grown here at home. In this bay we have cauliflower and bitter gourd, and here we have groundnut as well as the broad beans. Again, broad beans, they grow a lot. They have tremendous yield. In fact, last week we got about 4 kilos of broad beans just from this, and there's one more plant in another trough. Growing our own vegetables is very important, because we have to ensure that we, as well as the next generation, should get healthy food absolutely without any chemical fertilizers and pesticides, grown naturally. And if everyone starts growing vegetables on their rooftop, this will greatly reduce pollution in many indirect ways. Like, you will have less dependence on so much of transport lorries bringing vegetables from faraway places, and all the risks that go with it, and also the time that it takes to transport these vegetables, because they are perishable in nature. They tend to spoil even before you are actually bringing it to your table. So to ensure that you have absolutely fresh, just pluck today and you can just eat it on the same day. That is how it was actually intended by nature. But unfortunately, because of our kind of lifestyles, we have moved away from nature and we are doing things which are not good for our health, and it is also not good for the economy because we're unnecessarily putting more burden on the transportation system by carrying vegetables from far away. Apart from that, there is also one very important concept in nature, that nature knows best what we need in which place and which kind of weather conditions. So if you are living in a tropical country, and you will always get the vegetables naturally which are best suited for consuming in tropical country, so that your health will be good. You don't need to get vegetables from faraway places and get exotic vegetables and other things to maintain your health. You just have to use your locally grown vegetables. The closer to home it is grown, the better it is. That is what is my ultimate message. Thank you.